How do you spell Darwin? Darwin?
Darwin.
Just like the scientist.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, with the accent, I'm like, it's got to be something more like prettier. Darwin.
Nice accent.
D-A-H. I don't know. I'm glad we spelled it. I'm glad it's like the.
Easy.
Just like the old scientist. Testing. Hello.
But definitely some things.
It's hard to talk about people from the past these days.
Oh yeah, everything's a little bit problematic. Everyone had their time, and then also were within their time. Yeah.
This is Anna Thompson, a clown from Australia.
So, AnnaThompsonComedy.com.au.
Yes, correct.
.au?
Yep, .au.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Because
I'm Australian.
They're Australian.
Merry Swiftmas. If you celebrate, yesterday was Taylor Swift's birthday. We have a very special episode for you today. A very cool girl, lots of cool people. This is a great episode. It's called Humans Being Humans. I'm going to sort of leave you to yourselves, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to They Just Keep Talking.
And they don't stop talking.
You've heard of it.
I have.
So, well, this is exciting for me to have someone of your stature.
A TikTok aficionado.
A registered cool girl.
Registered and certified. Not licensed.
I'm always confused when a good time to use the word girl is, but you refer to yourself as a cool girl?
Well, I think it's context.
What is the context? I knew that my friend wanted to be anonymous, but I didn't know exactly how to play that, and I sort of thought she was going to do a character who was the cool girl, and it turns out she's actually just a cool girl.
Like,
people love context, by the way.
They do.
It's so important.
It really is. I think there's been a reclaiming of the word girl on TikTok, right? Like girl math,
right.
Girl dinner. So it's a way of like taking these things that men sort of like make fun of, or maybe don't, like people making fun of women's relationship to money or being bad at math forever has always existed, but making it like a cute girly thing that's quirky.
So the idea is that girls are bad at math, but it's quirky, or they just have their own math?
All things exist.
All things exist.
Yeah, it's like reclaiming the bad at math by making it girl math.
Okay.
Special. So girl math is like renegotiating any budget that you have to like where you're either making money or saving money. Or if you do online shopping and the item of clothing comes and it's in the wrong size, so you return it, you made money. That's now new money to spend. Or like if you're like, oh, I only have $20 to spend today, and you don't spend that $20 today,
yeah,
you have $40 tomorrow. You made money for tomorrow. It doesn't count.
So do you feel like a lot of girls who use girl math are currently struggling financially and just pretending that they're not, or?
I think that's the beauty of girl math is that there is also like a faith in the universe aspect, right?
It's
like,
a belief system. It's manifesting abundance.
Yeah. Like you got to spend money to make money.
You got to spend money to have money.
Yep.
Because if you don't buy that outfit in the wrong size, you won't make money on returning it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So girl dinner is interesting. I've watched up on, how do we do it now? I TikToked up on girl math, or no, girl dinner a little bit. And that I get, it's like a makeshift. I'm at home alone. I'm not cooking. I'm going to find 6 to 7 things that all are aligned and going into my mouth.
Yeah.
That sounds like girl dinner.
Little Maj Podge.
Although there's some debate between the girl dinners who don't really eat anything.
Right.
And then the girl dinners who really eat.
Yeah.
But it's just a bunch of random things.
Well, then there's also almond moms.
What's an almond mom?
Like moms that just like eat 3 almonds and are like, oh my God, I'm so full.
I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
Well, 3 almonds, you know, if you let them sit, they will become a tree.
Did you grow up in an ingredient household or a...
What's an ingredient household?
Like we open the fridge and there's only ingredients.
Are you a sharer?
Not really.
No.
Not by nature.
Not by nature.
It's cool when you do like taste testing, what we have done the past 8
Oh my
days.
god, we love a taste test.
It's actually cool. I should do this more often.
Oh, we did get to sit down with Heidi again, and we'll sit down with Heidi some more. Heidi's great. You remember Heidi from episode 1?
We started when I came back from the conference with a macaroni, mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah,
tasting, which was interesting also. Yeah, and finished it now with the donuts.
Yeah,
Almost
so we...
like-
Oh my god, vegan... So we did a vegan hangout, which is like a vegan group that meets up to hang out.
Wow.
And there's a whole team of them.
The hangout team, which meets up to hang out.
They plan events, excursions. They go out to bars.
It's a Facebook group.
It's a Facebook group. Yes, thank you very much. And so we went to this mac and cheese tasting, and I guess I told you like just not very much information. I just told you the mac and cheese tasting.
You were just like, there's a mac and cheese event at Washington Square Park. But I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in for anything.
Yeah, but it was just a mac and cheese taste test, so it was good. But we only got like a little tiny scoop of
it's
each
like
flavor.
Those baking coops, right? Where you're like, oh, 1 spoon.
It was like a quarter cup.
Yeah.
It was like
And they were already like, yeah, but don't take too much. And the thing was, I didn't eat anything before, and then they were like handing us the tiny spoon, and I was like, that's not even a tablespoon.
It was like a kid's serving. It was like a cup and a quarter cup. If we think about it, like
yeah, it was
1
maybe
1/4 cup.
good teaspoon.
I'm just doing boy math, which is 5 quarter cup servings is 1 1/4 cups as a total serving, and she was doing girl math, which is that is not dinner.
No, but it was a nice idea. I liked the overall idea. It was also, again, a nice memory for the future. And we tried different things, and now we know where to go to and where not to go to have a mac and cheese.
That's true. Do you work? You have a job?
I dabble.
You dabble?
Yeah, I prefer not to, but
We would all prefer not. No, a lot of people love working and they want to go all the time, but some people prefer not to. And you're one of those people?
I am one of those people. I identify as being okay not working.
Being okay not working. That's cool. I think I would be okay not working too if I could be okay not working.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a luxury item.
It is.
A bucket list.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get there when they get older, but
then what do you do with it?
And then you're like, I wish I had something to do.
Yeah.
So I could take a break from it.
Yeah.
But so you dabble
in not working?
And do you dabble in working though?
I do dabble in working.
I feel like if you dabble in not working, that means you probably do some working. Do you do some working?
I do a version of a freelance.
A version? What kind of freelance?
Writing, management,
cool
project
girl
management,
mathematician.
cool girl mathematician, TikTok aficionado,
All right, what's good on
Internet
going on
sleuther.
TikTok right now? Well, we couldn't celebrate Swiftmas without the author of I Belong Deeply to Myself, Dallas Taylor.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your trip to see Taylor Swift.
Oh, I fucking love that.
How many
girl.
times did you see the tour?
I only saw it once.
You only saw it once?
You know what? Anybody who got more than one ticket to that show, how the fuck did you do that?
But you tried.
I tried.
You tried. I
I
thought
tried
you guys
for the second
did it.
round.
Oh,
I tried
you
for
were
the
like-
second round of tickets when she's going to Indianapolis next year because my mom lives in Indiana.
Oh, really?
Or not? Did I say Indianapolis?
You said it, yeah. And
Yes,
then you
yes.
said
She's going to
Indiana.
Indianapolis. My mom lives in Indiana, so we were going
Oh,
to go.
I got you.
But
It's almost like why just for the
yeah. So, but
anyway.
it was a phenomenal show. Loved it. But yeah, no, I'm super passionate about girlhood. I love Taylor Swift. I don't know her personally, but I just love like the community that she's fostered.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it's like women's NFL. Like
Well,
people.
she's
but
bigger.
now she's
bigger
crossing
than
over.
the NFL. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot. I watch a lot of Taylor Swift. Swift Talk, is it?
Yeah.
Is it called Swift Talk?
Swift Talk? Yes.
I didn't make that up, right? It's
No,
already
no,
called
that's-
it.
yeah, that's what it is.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Of course. Swift Talk. Oh man, it was very illuminating, to see your journey through this book and to see that. And who did you do the cover or?
So my best friend Nikki and I.
Oh my God, that's great.
Did it, and then my sister Kate also helped us with it too.
Oh yeah.
So
Shout out Nikki. We'll have to plug
Nikki
her.
Inc. She's a phenomenal tattoo artist. She's done all my tattoos.
Oh, she does tattoos.
We were roommates when I started writing this book, and so it was really important to me that she be a part of it in some way. I realized that so much of this book was healing my inner child. So I told Nikki that I wanted it to look like a child had drawn it. I wanted it to be in crayon. I wanted it to be like kind of messily handwritten. And I wanted to use blue and white because to me it was like the blueprint of my healing was what I wrote in this book and kind of how I did it. So that was kind of our inspiration.
It's so sweet. It's such a nice little touching. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit over it.
No, it's okay.
Not over it. I'm into it. I did not connect with the Taylor glossary in the back.
Of contents,
but
yes.
the Taylor of contents. But now I think that's tied to your TikTok release,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, and also just to my general level of appreciation for her. I think since I was like 9 years old, I can remember the very first Taylor Swift song I heard where I was like, I had an oh shit, like, oh fuck.
Really?
I relate to that. I was, I think 9 or 10. It was off of her debut album, her self-titled debut album. And it's called A Place in This World.
A Place in This World.
And the first lines are, I don't know what I want, so don't ask me.
Ooh.
And that, I was like, oh, she knows what the fuck is up. Like, she is speaking directly to me.
Let's get back to TikTok. So you don't have a TikTok channel, or you do?
I do have an anonymous one. I'm like user 9 million something.
9 million something.
Yeah.
What's hot?
I feel like that's all very personal. I've been getting a lot of
Oh yeah, it
Taylor
is.
Swift and Travis Kelce.
What do you think about that? What's going on? What's your read on the sitch?
As a Swiftie, I think it's cool.
You're a Swiftie. Lifelong?
Yeah.
That's cool. I had a friend who introduced me to Taylor Swift, told me her story, and I was like, sold.
Yeah.
She's a fighter.
Yeah.
She's going to make it.
Yeah, you're an Allen, so it makes sense you'd feel that way.
Why do you say that?
It's just a Barbie
Oh,
reference.
I love
you know?
Barbie. You saw it?
I did see it, yeah.
And?
Thought it was great.
You thought just great?
Yeah, you know.
What did you like about it?
I liked a lot of it. I really loved the opening scene of the little girl smashing the baby dolls in like a rage, just like silently screaming. I thought that was like, if that was the whole movie, that would have been enough for me. There's an argument to be made that like the whole Barbie movie in general was a very trans story, right? Like the whole premise kind of boiled down very like simply as like Barbie is trying to like literally get a vagina, right? Like enter the real world and get like gender confirmation surgery.
Whoa. Is this your theory? Or did you just come up with this?
I've read things.
Think
It's not-
pieces?
Of course. I love a think piece.
I love a think piece.
Yeah.
I hadn't read that.
Do you write poetry?
I've been thinking about writing a poetry book.
Cool.
Actually. I've been thinking, there's like these people in my life, and I've been thinking about them gratitudinally, like thinking like, oh, I should like let them know, but it seems so like personal. I get very
Yeah.
over emotional
You're Gemini.
True. Both of me. And I was like, oh, I should just like write a poem, put it in a book, and if they want to read it, they can. I could just send them the book and be like, you're in here, thanks, rather than like putting the pressure of them of having to reply to it.
Yeah.
Somehow that feels like just like a public gratitudinal.
Yeah,
sort
why
of-
send someone a personal message when you can write a full book and get it published and then mail out?
Yeah, no problem. It's so easy.
That's a great idea. You should do it.
But yeah, but do I write poetry? I think I consider myself a poet in the obscure, like I've never studied poetry. I just feel like I got a knack.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Nah, you know, a wordsmith of sorts.
Absolutely.
Can get myself around a Word doc.
You do some
Come
writing?
up with something.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly.
Mostly like helping other people?
Yeah, you
Is that what you
know,
said?
I prefer to be an editor.
You do?
Mm.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly.
Well,
And
yeah,
then I get resentful and need to create my own thing. It's always my back and forth.
yeah, I think art is built in community.
Yeah.
I think most art resonates somewhere,
Yeah.
or else why would it be made?
Yeah. It's always a different way to take something, think about something.
What arts have you dabbled in? Are you a singer? Have you
Not a singer.
you play instruments?
Played piano growing up.
You a painter? You played piano?
I wouldn't say I've ever sold a painting, but I would say that I have art supplies at home.
Do you like girl art with your girl dinner while contemplating
Absolutely. Lots of flowers.
your girl math account?
1000%. Yes. Yeah.
So play piano. You have art supplies.
I do have art supplies.
You write when you're done
In the mood.
for done working on other people's projects.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel? Are you 4 books?
I am personally 4 books. Yeah.
4 books.
There was a book I was looking up that I wanted to tell you about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's also sort of like a end of the world. I was told about it yesterday by a friend. It's called Don't Bite the Sun. It's by Tanith Lee. So gender is like a big premise of the book because it's people sort of deciding what bodies they fit in on this journey. And also like running away from past versions of self, which again, I haven't read, but I'm excited to read because conceptually that's all really like fascinating.
Would you say you're gender fluid or what? Like
I'd say non-binary.
Oh yeah, non-binary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should ask how you define yourself.
Yeah, no, that's
non-binary.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And would you talk a little bit about how you sort of came to this identity, or
sure,
felt solid in it?
Yeah, I think for a long while I thought, I'm happy to identify as a woman with she, her pronouns because I believe in the diversity within any sex or gender identity, that you can look as any way you like and have any pronouns. Like it doesn't need to prescribe to a certain traits of femininity or masculinity. I don't believe there's a binary anyway. So basically I can say, right, these are my pronouns, and I can look and do whatever I want. Yeah. Within reason, with consent. So, and then I think just it's really been the last 12 months, it surprised me a bit, and I thought, actually, I think having they in there and identifying as non-binary just fits a little bit better. The term woman just didn't quite fit. Not that I'm saying that's prescriptive, it just didn't, yeah. I think they, she is what I tend to, I think I would have said maybe, yeah, she, they, or they, she in the workshop initially. It's been interesting traveling because I'm most often, assumed to be a woman. So I get a lot of sheing, a lot of ma'am, a lot of ladies, please sit. Whereas if I'm in Darwin in my little community, then there'll probably be a little bit, because people know me, there'll be a little bit more of a balance. So I feel like introducing myself if people ask, as they them hear, just to balance it out a little bit. For me, because if people are interested or if they can make the effort, then I would like to just throw they in a few more times because that's part of my identity. She's there too, but I'm getting plenty of that into the general society.
They're loading you up on a she.
Yeah, that's it. That's
you
just
need a healthy
balances
balance
out.
of they. So there's something like freeing once you get away from that sort of like locked in. And my favorite word is now like the spectrum. Like wherever you see something, you're just like, is this a binary? Like slap. It's a spectrum. No, it's like. Find your space within this area and like don't be afraid to cross over. I don't know how. You know what I mean? Like
even just for me, I think like a web or a constellation, because
say more. A web or a constellation.
A web or a constellation, because I feel like sometimes a spectrum is a line, and so then you're wandering along the line, and that still feels a little bit linear. And so I think years ago someone spoke about it like that. And so I thought, oh, that's really great because you can be connected. You can also just be like out on your own. So, yeah. And I think even within the queer community, it can still be very, boxes are quite safe. They're limiting, but they're also safe. Yeah. It's just like, oh, we want to do this. We want to put you in this. We want to sort of, so it's, I think we've got to relax ourselves within community. Yeah, the stereotypes I just get bored with.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge questions.
Huge questions. And then but this idea of like, you have to make that choice to move on in your body. Like you could live as a teenager for 100 years and like, but then you have to like choose to be 20 or choose to be like that is like a weird, like, because there's like a death of going like through the different ages.
Mm-hmm.
And or just starting different points of your life, and especially like, when it comes to like gender stuff like that, like trying to change gender sounds like people are sort of like, oh my god, it's so crazy that people would do that. But I'm like, whenever I think about how much work goes into that and how much thought must go into that and how much pain must drive that choice in a way, or I don't know,
Yeah.
it's not always pain, maybe it's joy,
It's
but
probably
I
both.
feel like it's a little bit of both, and gets you to this next step. It's like, well, you do have to die a little bit. And like in that show Transparent, I remember the father who was going through transition, that they were gonna like lose everybody in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, oh, another, how joyful.
Yeah.
And so if you have to go through all that, like, just to be who you are, it's got to be hard on its own without other people telling you what to do with your life. But
That can be always worse.
for fear of it being worse, you don't try to improve it, that situation.
Yeah.
That's crazy. There is a benefit, right? You know how someone works, you learn how to tolerate them.
Yeah.
So having a new thing, it's an adjustment. It can be scary, but is it the best way to go forward?
Yeah, sometimes I think for certain life situations it could be, if there is anyways so much change in your life, then maybe one staple, and if it's a horrible boss where you can non-stop complain, maybe
take care of one thing at a time,
Yeah,
always,
yeah.
or whatever. But
I think it's also not good to change everything. Oh, I will move, I will change my job, I will move away. I think that's also not the way to go, but
I mean, I've packed up all my things and moved across the country a couple of times, but that's just me.
every step to change that you feel better mentally, I think it's important. Because otherwise, I mean, you have therapy and everything, but long term, if you have the energy and the power, then there must be change.
There must be change.
Yeah.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. Like you're right. Like, that's perfect. There
Mhm.
must be change.
Yeah. Or you, I'm miserable.
What?
Or you're miserable.
Or you're miserable.
Miserable.
All right, let's talk about our mukbang.
Yeah, let's go back to food. That's
Let's
more
go back.
interesting.
I love talking about science with you. Like, to me, like, it's so
you can
intimidating.
tell the audience what you learned once from me the first time I was here. I teach you something. You remember?
No, you know I'm not gonna remember.
You don't know?
No, not when you put me on the spot. The technique?
Yeah, where I told you we make then soup and then
The brain soup. Oh,
the brain soup. Yes.
and there's an extraction technique.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's a reinsertion technique or something. No,
No,
that's not different. No. Just an extraction, and it was called the syringe, the super syringe. No.
Okay, we will stop here. Sorry. If you want to know more, write me an email or write me a DM on Instagram.
On Instagram,
If
your
you wanna know
Instagram
more,
handle is?
You can
No.
find it in the show notes.
Yeah, it'll be. Oh my God, she's been listening to Isolda.
No, in general. But yeah, Isolda, thank you for your input.
Isolda, where's your bad guy? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You need a bad. You've written an urban fantasy novel. You need a bad guy. No, this is man versus himself. No, you need a bad guy. Okay, and in the mystery, Isolda, there seems to be only one suspect. You need more suspects.
All right.
And the same thing with this, when you said you need a narrative, you need something that ties all this stuff all together. And I went, yeah, okay. And so great advice from people like you has made me really blossom as a writer, but also as someone who can take ideas and run with them into something that was really surprising.
Recently gotten into boxing.
Really?
Yep.
Is it girl boxing or just regular boxing?
I would say it's like if I fought anyone, it would definitely be another girl, so I would call it girl boxing. But yeah, I would say I would. Yeah, you know, I would. Yes, I would call it girl boxing.
You wouldn't fight a non-binary or a man?
I personally would fight a non-binary under a certain height, or like in my weight class.
In your weight class, right? What if you found just a dude in your weight class?
No, I wouldn't.
Why? Because you would go too hard on him? Or you'd be afraid he would go too hard on you? Is that the wrong word? Am I saying the wrong words? Hard on you?
I think I would just like, I don't know, maybe I would respond better to a man, actually. Something about it feels imbalanced to me, but maybe that's just my own preconceived misogyny. And
maybe.
it's complicated to figure out where you like fit into sexual and gender dynamics, you know? I think it's like an ever evolving thing for a lot of people.
That is so true. I feel like, especially, so now I feel like, all right, everyone's worried that they're just programming the kids with these options. And with these options, but it's like really like you have like one kid per class and everyone's like freaking out, or like there's or one friend is like, oh, me too, maybe I don't care about being a boy. It's like, oh. And but so there's this idea that's being promoted, but really it's being allowed. There's being space made for it to exist without people like just trying to crush their kids into like this mold.
Yeah, that's how I think of it too.
There's still many stereotypes that exist within queer communities of, oh, you're queer, that means you don't like sport. It's just like, I just went to the women's basketball last night.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
was telling me.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And there was definitely queers there. There was, a wonderful person who put up this great T-shirt about, love who you want and watch women's sport. Right. And so if we get into limiting, or if you're like, okay, queers are always creative, it's just like, No,
some are real boring.
Or just, inherently I think everyone's creative. We stagnate sometimes in our creativity, or the number of adults who have said to me, oh, I'm not creative. And I'm like, oh, who told you that? What high school? What primary school? You of course. So you give a whole bunch of people the freedom to have materials and then either put them on themselves or on someone else and walk down a catwalk in the name of ridiculousness, and I think that frees up a lot of people. So for me, that's what I came over with.
Oh yeah, but we're creating a space for people to have more discovery in their life.
Yeah.
And rather than be like told this is the path, which I think is great because, well, I mean, it's nice to know where the path is. I think where there's a path that's well tread, and then give people the freedom to go off the path, which is honestly what my mom likes when we go on excursions. She doesn't want a place that's only got one path.
Yeah. It's like threatening to a lot of people, so it's great that your mom feels that way. But
yeah,
I think the idea of people going off a path is threatening to so many adults because it's like, oh, I need to now understand what that path is. And it's like, no, you don't really need to understand it. You just need to know that there's enough room for everyone's path. Right.
This is what I've been like. Speaking of, are you watching The Golden Bachelor?
I have watched The Golden Bachelor, yes.
And?
What do you think? Are you all caught up?
I don't think I'm caught up, but I have enjoyed the drama already, and the honesty, the sort of vulnerability of these older women and this gentleman.
Yeah.
Putting themselves out there, and it's weird. I was watching it with my friend, actually, Heidi, and I don't know if she watched Bachelor before, but I was feeling like it's like the best season of it.
Yeah.
It's like really like, oh, this is the time we need the show.
Yeah, totally.
For like to see like these women are all like, look at us.
Yeah, they're chaotic.
They're
chaos queens.
But they're out there like looking good. They're like holding it together and they're like cheering for each other, or they were. I don't know if they still are, but it was like really supportive in a different way than I'd seen before in The Bachelor.
One of the things I've loved watching in it is like all the silly ways that people like like things will do to garner attention. Like spoiler alert, but in the most recent episode, there's a group date that's like a sporting event,
Oh yeah.
and one of the women like fakes an injury to get Gary's attention.
Oh, she
Right.
fakes it.
Yeah, she like very dramatically like falls, right? And then it's like, oh, my ankle.
Oh no.
And then she's in her one-on-one interview and is like, totally didn't fall, you know? And that's like, I think that is so, that's every stage of life is like a thing that is like so funny to me. Like
Oh yeah.
kids on a playground will do that. Kids in middle school will do that. College, like early adulthood, middle age, like you know, you act out in ways to get attention. And it's just so funny that it's just like, I don't know. There's some things that are just it's just humans being humans.
It's just humans being humans. That reminds me, there's a phrase like, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense to me on like a large scale, but I sort of saw like what I feel is like the in-person version of that, which I was doing a show in Times Square years ago at this like weird comedy sketch thing above a porn club or whatever, like
As you do in New York. Yeah.
Old porn theater.
Yeah.
It was in an old porn theater, and it was above a current like porn center. What do they call it? It's like a sex shop, I guess, right? Like a
Porn center.
porn center.
Okay, got
You
it.
can find all your DVDs.
Yeah.
And all your needs.
Your cassettes.
Yeah, and your packaged play toys.
Right.
Whatever. Everything was there. And so we would get some undesirable clients upstairs sometimes. But then we were doing this like show for the sailors. Like what's
Fleet
that
Week.
called? Fleet Week. And so we had a special going. And so it was like, we had like a group of like 4 sailors on one side, and it wasn't a big theater, but on one side of the stage, and then like 2 women over here, and we were doing the show, but this woman was doing her own show, like over our show, like throughout our show, like talking back to the show, and like these guys were laughing. They definitely hooked up at the at the end of that. I was like, I guess there's like no such thing as bad publicity. Like she was like atrocious as an audience member, but for the sailors, she's like, she made some noise and she grabbed some attention, and I was like,
Good for her. That's some girl math.
some girl math. I guess the holidays are coming up too.
Yeah.
Are you a holiday person?
Not really. No, not really.
How do you feel about Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
No.
I come from a complicated family background, so holidays were never super cozy for me, and I think in my adult life it's a thing I've sort of needed to learn to trust and also give into, which is a yearly development and practice for me. So I think I get a little better at holidays each year, but I can't say it's ever a thing that I'm just like foaming at the mouth to get to. I do like Christmas.
You do like Christmas?
Yeah, I love gifts.
Oh, you love gifts.
I do.
So it's more tolerable. You're not a foodie necessarily.
Well, I am, but like sitting formally with a huge plate at a dinner table is like not really my speed. I'd rather like be on the floor in front of a TV with everyone and
with
like
just like 3
laughing
almonds.
at something. Yeah. I'm also an almond mom.
Thank you so much. How are we doing? Do you want anything else you want to talk about before we?
I don't have anything major pressing, but if you're slim on content, I can always yap away.
Well, I think this is good for now, but we'll definitely have you back if you're still cool and want a cool girl with me.
See what the reviews say.
That's fair. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Well, where am I going with that? I got lost.
Just amusing.
Amusing. It's amusing.
Amusing.
Amusing. I was just musing. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. We're not just saying that's an amusing little anecdote.
Yeah.
It's amusing.